A washer dead after 3 years, a generator engine seized on a job site, a boot sole peeling off at 6 months, a non-stick pan scratched to bare aluminum, a wrench rounding the bolt it was made to grip. Everyone died because one replaceable part couldn't be replaced. In 2022, the world generated 62 million tons of e-waste, with only 22.3% formally recycled, and by 2030 that hits 82 million. Repair hasn't failed. It's been designed out. So if buying something for life is still possible, it demands a standard most brands were never built to meet. This is how the cycle works. A single internal component wears out, as every moving part eventually must, and the entire machine is rendered useless. Instead of selling you a $5 replacement bearing, manufacturers force you to purchase the entire assembly all over again. You pay for the steel, the shipping, the marketing, and the corporate profit margin twice, just to solve a problem that a simple turn of a wrench should have fixed. This constant loop of forced replacement turns ordinary wear into an artificial death sentence for your tools, your gear, and your bank account. It shifts the burden of maintenance from a simple afternoon chore to a constant financial tax. True ownership means buying something designed to survive its first inevitability, wear. If an object cannot be disassembled, serviced, and restored when a single part breaks, you do not actually own it. You are just renting it until it fails. High retail prices and luxury logos do not guarantee durability. Often, complex extra features simply add more failure points. A practical buy-it-for-life standard requires a solid physical structure, replaceable wear parts, publicly available parts diagrams, and a manufacturer that genuinely expects you to perform maintenance. Instead, the Federal Trade Commission's 2021 Nixing the Fix report exposed how manufacturers use physical barriers, restricted service manuals, and software locks to obstruct independent repair. Regulators noted that corporate justifications for these restrictions were supported by scant evidence. True durability does not mean a machine runs forever without care. The real standard is whether the product remains worth maintaining when a component inevitably breaks. In Ripon, Wisconsin, one factory has assembled laundry machinery since 1908. That facility produces the Speed Queen TC5, a top-loading washer that deliberately ignores modern appliance trends. Step into any appliance showroom today, and the floor is filled with machines disguised as smart devices. They feature touchscreens, glass lids, Wi-Fi connectivity, and complex electronic sensors. These features look sleek under retail spotlights, but they often introduce fragile failure points without extending the actual service life of the machine. The TC5 rejects this design theater, treating laundry as a basic utility task rather than a lifestyle statement. But stripped-down controls do not guarantee reliability. The real test is whether this traditional mechanism can handle years of heavy, relentless household work. Alliance Laundry Systems tests these machines in Ripon, Wisconsin to 10,400 cycles. Based on an average of 8 loads a week, they calculate that to mean 25 years of service. A laboratory test is simply a benchmark, not a promise of immortality. It cannot simulate a bad installation, neglected maintenance, or abusive operation. Instead of trusting marketing math, look at how the machine is physically built to prevent failure. The stainless steel tub resists chemical corrosion from modern detergents. High-stress areas use metal gears instead of cheap molded plastics that shear under heavy mechanical loads. Behind the panel, the control boards are sealed against laundry room moisture, while heavy-duty connectors prevent the electrical connection failures that paralyze digital appliances. This traditional mechanical agitation puts fewer fragile systems between you and your laundry. It is backed by a 5-year warranty, but no warranty removes the necessity of regular physical maintenance. The TC5 is not a showroom darling. It costs significantly more upfront than conventional washers, yet offers a modest 3.2 cubic feet of capacity. It runs loud, trading quiet operation for a heavy-duty mechanical drive. You get no touchscreens, no Wi-Fi, and 0 smart features. If you shop by checking off gimmick lists, this machine loses. That premium price buys working iron and simple serviceability rather than software destined to brick the control board. The value shows up over decades of repeated work, not on a retail display. Your buying rule is simple. Judge an appliance by the physical abuse it was built to survive, not by its features. Away from household laundry rooms lies a brutal world of construction sites, remote homesteads, and emergency power. Here, the commercial Honda GX family, the GX 120, GX 160, and GX 200 serves as the undisputed work standard. These are not lifestyle products. They are heavy-duty, four-stroke engines built to run generators, pumps, and pressure washers under continuous punishing loads. The engineering choices are purely mechanical. Instead of soft aluminum, Honda uses a cast iron cylinder sleeve, providing a tough running surface that keeps the piston from wearing the cylinder oval. The crankshaft is forged steel to tolerate sudden torsional shock, supported by heavy ball bearings to stop rotational friction. Overhead valves are kept in a simple, highly serviceable layout, protected from airborne grit by dual-element air cleaners. This construction carries a 3-year limited warranty, but it is not a promise of immortality. These engines often sit idle for months, yet they must start instantly when needed. They survive because they are built for physical abuse. Even the best metallurgy is useless if a 10-cent component fails and you cannot identify it. If a governor spring snaps, a head gasket leaks, or a throttle linkage bends, an otherwise bulletproof Honda engine becomes a heavy paperweight unless you can pinpoint the exact replacement. This is where documentation becomes a physical element of durability. Honda backs its hardware with model and serial-specific parts catalogs, some running 84 pages for a single GX 160. These are not marketing brochures, they are diagnostic roadmaps. Using detailed exploded diagrams, you can trace every single bolt, washer, and seal to its exact OEM component number. Serial ranges distinguish parts that look identical but have microscopic, critical differences. Without this information, anonymous clone engines quickly become disposable. The moment a nameless spring fails, the machine is dead. Before you buy any engine-powered equipment, check the chassis, locate the model number, and verify that an official parts diagram is publicly accessible. If it isn't, walk away. In 1905, a footwear factory opened in Minnesota to build boots for local miners. Today, models like the Red Wing Iron Ranger still prove that a worn-out sole does not mean a dead boot. Cheap, modern footwear uses cemented construction where the sole is simply glued directly to the upper leather. Once that glue breaks or the rubber tread wears smooth, the entire boot is garbage. But these welted models are built differently. They pass through over 230 separate manufacturing steps to create a physical interface between the leather upper and the bottom tread. Instead of glue, a strip of leather called a welt is stitched to both the upper and the sole, keeping them as separate, independent layers. When the bottom rubber eventually grinds down to nothing, you do not throw the boot away. The factory can strip off the worn-out sole and stitch on a fresh one, preserving the broken-in, custom-molded leather upper for decades of work. An Iron Ranger costs $350. A factory resole runs $165, roughly 47% of a new pair. Even an extensive repair package stays under $180. This transaction preserves the broken-in leather, the custom shape, and the molded fit of your boots instead of starting over. But this math only works if you maintain the leather. Severe damage to the upper or the structural insole makes repair impossible. A cobbler cannot resurrect dry-rotted hides. Remember, not every Red Wing boot is built this way. Many of their cheaper models use glued soles that belong in a landfill once they wear down. Do not trust the brand badge. Your buying rule is simple. Verify the exact model's construction and repair eligibility before handing over your cash. Lodge has poured molten metal in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee since 1896. Their standard 10¼ inch cast iron skillet costs approximately $30, representing the ultimate anti-gadget design. It is essentially one solid piece of iron. The skillet contains no electronics, no moving parts, and no synthetic non-stick coatings. You will find no circuit boards, no motors, and no bearings to wear down. There are no proprietary components or sealed mechanisms designed to fail. This complete lack of added failure systems makes planned obsolescence physically impossible. A low price does not automatically mean low durability. Instead, its basic simplicity reduces the number of parts that can fail or need sourcing. The skillet's value comes from its physical recoverability rather than a flashy feature list, but even solid metal can be neglected. What happens when that raw iron surface is severely damaged? When raw iron rusts or food begins to stick, you do not throw the pan away. You scrub off the corrosion, dry the metal, apply a thin layer of cooking oil and bake it. This heat transforms the liquid fat into a hard, plastic-like protective barrier, a process called polymerization, where the oil chemically bonds directly to the iron. Lodge simplified this chore in 2002 by introducing factory-seasoned cookware, and by 2007, their entire cast iron range was sold ready to use. But the real value is that this surface is completely rebuildable by design. When a synthetic non-stick pan gets scratched, the factory coating is ruined forever, turning the entire pan into useless trash. With cast iron, a damaged surface is just a temporary setback. You simply apply more oil, add heat, and restore the barrier yourself. Your buying rule is straightforward. Choose cookware with a surface you can renew, not one with an expiration date. A Made in U.S., a stamp on a steel wrench, has become a corporate marketing trick. Many legendary tool names are now just license badges, stamped onto outsourced metals of questionable quality. When a brand forfeits process control, the buyer loses consistency. Wright Tool has rejected this outsourcing model. Founded in 1927 in Barberton, Ohio, Wright manufactures over 99% of its hand tools in the United States. This choice goes deeper than simple geography. It establishes direct accountability. The company maintains absolute control over design, raw forging, precision machining, and critical heat treatment within their own facilities. This complete oversight dictates how the steel responds to extreme torsional stress. If a manufacturer does not control the fire in the forge, they cannot guarantee the performance of the wrench in your hand. Without direct oversight of the manufacturing chain, a lifetime warranty is just an empty promise written on imported cardboard. Anyone who has worked on a rusted machine knows the sinking feeling of a socket slipping and rounding a stubborn bolt. Traditional socket profiles concentrate force directly onto the sharp corners of a fastener, easily chewing through metal and turning a simple job into a nightmare of extraction. Wright's Drive 2.0 design changes this mechanical relationship by shifting the contact area away from the fragile corners and onto the flat sides. The manufacturer states this geometry provides up to 10 times more contact surface than conventional 12-point designs and roughly 1.7 times more contact than a second-generation aerospace profile. These measurements are engineering claims rather than an absolute guarantee against user abuse, but improving the physical contact area protects both the fastener and your socket from premature wear. This maintenance-first philosophy extends directly to the ratchets. If the internal teeth eventually wear out or slip, a failed gear does not mean you throw away the heavy steel tool. Wright offers ratchet renewal kits for their entire line, spanning from 1/4 inch up to 1 inch drives. Instead of paying for a whole new handle, you simply replace the internal gear mechanism yourself to restore the tool to working order. Your buying rule for hand tools is simple. Look for published engineering standards, readily available replacement internals, and a lifetime warranty backed directly by the manufacturer. Evaluating any purchase comes down to a fundamental choice. Are you buying a long-term tool, or are you just renting a temporary convenience? The 5 brands on this whitelist embody 5 distinct principles of true ownership. The Speed Queen TC5 proves that an appliance must be judged by the repeated cycles it survives, rather than its digital feature count. A Honda GX engine proves that public documentation, exploded diagrams, and identifiable parts are just as essential to durability as the heavy metal itself. Red Wing Heritage boots show that footwear construction must allow worn-out outsoles to be cleanly stripped away and replaced. A Lodge cast iron skillet represents a working surface that the owner can completely restore and renew at home. And Wright Tool shows that combining strong working geometry with simple, rebuildable internal mechanisms keeps a tool in service for decades of hard work. When you evaluate your next purchase, ignore the retail spotlights and ask 5 strict questions in this order. First, what is going to wear out first? Second, can that worn out component actually be removed? Third, can you buy the replacement part yourself without a dealer license? Fourth, does the actual repair information and diagnostic manual exist publicly? And fifth, is the warranty backed directly by the original manufacturer, or is it outsourced to a third-party runaround? None of these 5 products are immortal, and none are maintenance-free. They will all eventually require your labor, because maintenance is not failure, and repair is not an inconvenience. The only meaningful difference is what happens after normal wear inevitably occurs. The most expensive product you can buy is the cheap, sealed machine designed as a dead end, the one that becomes worthless because a single, unreplaceable 10-cent plastic component fails inside. The strongest purchase is rarely the newest or the most feature-rich. It is the one designed to remain worth maintaining, built to keep value in your hands instead of feeding the manufacturer's next sale. Today, the corporate push to turn buyers into perpetual renters is only accelerating. As planned obsolescence expands into every corner of our lives, choosing to maintain what we own becomes a quiet act of rebellion. Real durability isn't a luxury, it's self-reliance. Buy what is built to be fixed and keep control in your hands. What's the last thing you repaired? Let's discuss below.